Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, sorry, it caught me in the middle of a stretch there, just getting fired up for my morning here. We're on coffee cup number 3. And you guys, so today we are talking about secrets for a successful product launch. So I recently just launched my Star-Spangled Summer Collection. So I wanted to share some of the lessons I learned from this most recent launch, some of the mistakes I feel like I made in past launches, and just kind of talk about what you should be doing. And honestly, I was listening to some podcast episodes. I don't even remember what podcast it was, but it was like product launch strategies. Like before I launched mine, I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to this and get so many good details. And they're always like the dumbest advice. I'm sorry to anyone who does these, but they're always like, know your product, know your audience. And I'm like, these are not practical, helpful tips. Like, one of my pet peeves is just business strategy. It's like, know your client. Like, I just think that is so dumb. I'm sorry. It's just like not helpful to anybody. So these are just more practical tips, not things like, create launch day graphics. Like that, those are just like no-brainer things. Like obviously set up your site to sell something. Yeah. Like I don't know. So these are just a little bit more, I guess Cami-esque tips that I've noticed made a difference in my most recent launch. So, yeah.
No, I agree with that for sure. Cami and I have had that conversation before that when we dish out stuff to you guys, we try to make it good. We don't want those like sloppy refried beans. We want a freaking like sundae, ice cream sundae with multiple layers and flavors and sprinkles and all the.
I'm going to slap you with some crusty refried beans. Okay.
I just think of I just watched Napoleon Dynamite last week, and he just slapping the mush over the fence to Tina and the law. And that's just like what I feel like sometimes you get is just people just slapping some stuff out there.
I was listening to this one. It was like, okay, he was asking the girl listening, and he was like, tell us some of your a really big secret, and she was like, well, you have to be able to know what your product looks like, and what does that mean? And then she went in this philosophical thing, and it was like, what? And at the end of it, I was like, that made 0 sense, and it was 0% helpful, and no, so I just don't want to mess around with stuff like that. So these are just going to be some simple, actionable things you can do. So let me give the background of it, because I just launched Star-Spangled Summer. Well, this was, as we're recording this, I just launched it a week ago or something. I don't even know. And I wasn't expecting it, but it was my biggest launch ever. Literally beat Christmas first day by double. I'm like, what in the heck is going on? So I was like, I got to take note of some of the different things I did this time that I think led to that success. I mean, obviously, there's so many factors that can lead to a really good launch day. Maybe you just timed it right. Maybe the products are just freaking awesome. You hit a really good niche market on something that doesn't exist. But these are just some of the things that I noticed. And I was like, I should have done this at Christmas that I didn't do. Because usually Christmas is gangbusters for me. I mean, and it is gangbusters for me. And it's always big. So I was surprised that this one was bigger than Christmas on launch day.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I was about to say wild, but I had just given myself a hard time on that other episode we recorded about saying wild. So that's insane.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, I think Christmas overall, over, time, it does better and it will do better. But just in terms of actual day of launch, building that hype. So yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. And plus, I want to say too that everyone is launching Christmas at the same time. So it's kind of expected, right? Of obviously Christmas is coming. And so there's going to be a holiday launch. But this one was kind of fun because I don't know, you tend to come up with your own launch themes. So the fact that you were Star-Spangled Summer and you got people all wound up for it and excited for summer, it was something a little different than the typical holiday, what's expected, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, gosh, there's so many things to think about with product launches. It's thinking about the timing, everyone's doing Christmas, but you got to do a Christmas one because you're insane not to. But yeah, there's just so many things. So let's just go over some of the little changes I made and chat about them. We can just have a combo about each of them. So
yes. That sounds good. Also, I really hope that whatever episode you were talking about, that like nobody knows what podcast. Like
Trust
you
me,
said, you don't even remember, right?
it's nothing none of our audience would ever listen to, because it's like one of those like dude entrepreneur kind of things where they have someone on and she's like, I'm a product launch specialist, but really she's launching services, but she's acting like she's launching actual physical products. And it was like,
oh, interesting.
And the guy's
so
like,
this
I
is
did
like
a leather bound book one time, and I'm like, what? Nobody cares.
this
bro.
is worlds away because we
totally done the other side of the world for sure.
Good. That's good to know, because I was like, I hope this like isn't somebody in our industry. It's not. That's good.
It is so it is like another galaxy away from our industry. Because sometimes I'll just search like a keyword and iTunes or on or like podcasts, like keyword and then podcast, and then just click something that sounds interesting, and that's what I did. And I was like, this is literally not helpful. I'll make my own launch strategy. I'll figure it out myself. Like, all right, perfect. Okay,
now that has been disclaimed, because I love my disclaimer, I will let Cami take it away with her amazing strategies.
Yeah, before I continue to bash entrepreneur podcasts, I tell you what. Okay, so number one of the things I did, well, not necessarily differently, but something I am going to continue to implement into my launch strategy is anchoring to a holiday or like a season. And I feel like we already kind of naturally do this, where we're like, oh, this is the Christmas collection, or this is the Valentine's Day collection, or whatever. But, just being very intentional about this, because not only does it make your messaging for launching so much easier, but you also get that added hype of the upcoming holiday to mix into your launch. And as small business owners, like, we need all the extra hype we can get. Like, we're not Rifle Paper Co. who can just be like, we have umbrellas and like throw it out there. Like, if we can attach our launches to something people are already excited for, whether it's like football season or, Christmas or Thanksgiving or Halloween. I'm just like thinking of all the holidays coming up for stuff I want to do. It's going to be so much more successful. So if you're like, I want to launch a nursery collection, I feel like it's going to be more successful if you can somehow relate it back to a holiday or a season.
Yes.
And that might mean like reverse engineering what you're doing a little bit. And I do feel like, since I've kind of landed more in the party goods space, this does make it a little easier for me. But just what can you attach your product launch to like add on the hype, if that makes sense. So
yes.
Getting the holiday or the season involved. And I just almost fell out of my chair.
I saw that.
Your customers' instant connectivity to your products. Like, instead of them being like, oh, that's a cute and fun thing, now that they're like, oh, that's cute and fun, and I'll use it for Halloween or whatever. They're like, this is how I can use this thing. So it just like gives that extra reason for them to buy. So yeah.
All right. So if you don't want to do it around a holiday time, which might be the more wise thing, right, to connect it to something, can you still theme it towards like stages of life, or, if you're building a collection, and what if it's geared a lot towards like newborns or nurseries? I don't know. Like, is there also a good approach for something that's not holiday geared for people?
I think for that, I would do it like seasonal and be like, this is our summer release of our newborn collection or whatever, and make it tie to that. But I mean, if it's going to be like, very like darker colors, and be like, this is the winter newborn collection, just something that you can tie it to that's going to have like an extra marketing push towards it.
Okay.
I mean, you could still do just like, this is the newborn collection or this is the nursery collection, but I feel like you get more bang for your buck and you can figure out something to tie it to. Even if it's like, we got Mother's Day coming up, so we're launching, is Mother's Day in May? Yeah. So you were launching it around that, like figuring out the best time, or there could be, those random months that they're celebrating something, or random holidays. You could just kind of play it off that, things like that. Or like, does this make sense? I feel like you're looking at me like,
no. I mean, no, it does. It does make sense for sure.
I lost my train of thought because I was looking at myself.
No, because I think too that there are always these like emotional cues that come with the change of the season. And so being able to play off of that, like, and I feel like you do that really well.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, this is something
You're
I'm like,
yeah, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's something I'm like trying to be more intentional about. I'm like, how can I play off what's coming next that people are excited about? And it just like, before I was just like, okay, here's something for the holidays, like, and didn't really have something. But now I'm like, here's Valentine's Day. And, then like this one, obviously Star-Spangled Summer did really well. So just like figuring out how I can like maximize the rest of those. Like, I still want to do another kind of like summer collection as well. That's a little like a different angle on summer. So it'll be like summer vacation collection, something like that. Just tying it to something else people can get excited about. So giving a little bit of a theme. The messaging becomes so much easier because you're like, are you going on vacation? Well, you're going to need this thing, that kind of thing.
Brittany from Paper Betty did her lemons and lilacs.
Yeah.
And I loved that because it was like played on totally like the Mother's Day spring kind of theme. I think she kind of went with that.
Like if you can tie it to something and just like make it feel cohesive and very timely, and it's just going to feel intentional and very like purposeful, and people are going to like gravitate towards it and like remember it too. It's not just something like a flash in the pan. Like that's what I'm saying as small business owners, like Rifle Paper Co.'s like, here we release these new trays or whatever. And you're like, those are awesome. They don't have to tie it to a holiday because they have so much of an audience behind them. I just feel like for us, it gives us a little extra benefit. So us lowly folks.
I still think if you put your mind to it, you could easily launch something like that.
Yeah. I did like Rainbow Garden was kind of out of the blue. It kind of like played off spring and Easter a little bit, but I could have like made it more attached to a holiday.
That's true. Okay.
And it probably built up the hype a little bit more. So
what did you call it? Rainbow Butterfly Garden?
Oh, okay. I called it Rainbow Garden. Sorry.
Rainbow Garden. Your cats are all going haywire.
Oh my gosh. I know. There's just like stuff being knocked over everywhere, you guys. So yeah, attaching it, anchoring yourself to a holiday or a season or something else to get your audience hyped about is my first secret. Okay, my second secret is to invite your audience in. And one of the mistakes I used to make is that I thought everything has to be top secret. I have to launch it all at once. No one can see any sneak peek. Like no one can know anything that's going on. I can't ask anyone anything. I make all the decisions. It is top secret. I launch it on this day. There are no other secrets about it. But a better strategy would be to invite your audience into the making of the process. So instead of that idea of like the big bang launch where everything just comes out of nowhere and everyone's like, whoa, you're launching something, like build buzz so you can get people talking. That's like the most important part of a launch. It's just like getting people being like, what's she doing? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like doing question boxes, even if it's just something like, what do you like to do on the 4th of July? Or, just something that we're like, and kind of they start thinking, oh, Cami's talking about the 4th of July. I wonder if she's going to come out with something related to that. Or what are some fun words that you use to describe, being patriotic? Just things like that. Just asking questions, getting your audience involved. Maybe this kind of goes into the second secret about like sharing sneak peeks, but taking like, you show just like a tiny bit and be like, ooh, there's something new is coming. Like just making it feel like, ooh, what's she doing? Like I love people who share sneak stuff. Like I'm like, trying to figure out what it is. Like think about how you already react when you see people like asking questions. You're like, they're up to something. I wonder what it is, So
Yes.
Even if like you already know what you're going to do, which is like me half the time when I ask questions, I'm like, I'm already doing whatever. It doesn't really matter what you say. It's just about like getting them thinking about you, doing all this stuff. Like, I wonder what she's doing. Maybe they'll message people like, did you see Cami's stories? Like she was talking about this one thing. I wonder if it's something different. Like one of the things I was doing was talking about finding a printer for something I wanted to make, the table runners. And I was like, I've been talking to all these people, trying to figure out something new. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying to get this, this thing made. Everyone was like, what the heck is she talking about? And people were getting excited. Like me just literally talking about behind the scenes processes of it all. So people were like, oh, right. That's cool. She's making something new. So sharing those behind the scenes thing is so important. Doing that super, super early, like before you even need to think about it. Like you want to just like build that suspense as long as possible.
Yes. And let me say too that like inviting your audience in, it's not the same thing as letting them dictate what you do, because I think this is confusing for people.
This is very good.
When we're like, ask them what they want or ask them their opinion, and people are like, okay, I'm going to do whatever my audience says. No. Like you are the boss of your business. You already know what you're doing. You just like get them involved in a way that's like, okay, so Cami, you do this all the time where you're like, I am thinking of doing this card with different color combinations. What color combinations should I use? a lot of times when Cami asks stuff like that, sorry to break it to you guys, she probably already has a good idea of what she's
I
doing.
probably already printed it, actually. I probably
She
already
is
submitted it.
probably like being like, okay, should I choose A, B, or C? And everyone's like C, but she's known the whole time that she's gonna do A. But the reason is that like builds excitement. It's another thing that like it does make people feel involved, but you're not out there being like, I need to take whatever my audience is telling me to do and apply it to my business. It's more that you're leveraging that for interaction, engagement, excitement, all of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like the types of questions you should be asking are not, what should my next collection be? What would you like to see from me? Those things, no, that's nothing, because basically you're just putting all the power on your audience to make all the decisions for you. And so they're like, oh, she just makes whatever we tell her. You want to be the trendsetter and be like, I'm making something so amazing. You're going to love it. You're going to have it. It's so cool. But first, tell me, which colors do you like best when you're doing the 4th of July? Do you like classic red, white, and blue? Or do you like a little pink mixed in? Like something like that.
Yeah.
Versus just being like, I don't know what I want to make. I know I want to do summer. What do you guys like about summer? Like, I don't know. Just,
right.
Where you're like literally act like you're clueless. You don't want to do that.
Yes,
because you want to be the trendsetter. Like always think about being the trendsetter and just like own it. Own whatever you're doing. Invite the audience into fun little details. Invite them into showing a little bit behind the scenes of how you sketch something, or, a prototype, or maybe a paper sample you're working with, or sharing like, I ordered this sample, but it's not going to work because I really want to make sure this thing is waterproof or whatever. Like talking about those kinds of things where you invite your audience in is the best way to do it. So,
yep. Be the innovator, be the trendsetter. I think we've said in podcasts before, don't be the one asking the question, be the one doing.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It sounds
don't
super
be
lame.
asking, be telling. Yeah. I don't know what we said, but I'm sure we've talked about this before because it's definitely something.
I like how I'm like trying to paraphrase ourselves, but it's just coming out totally wrong.
I like how you said trendsetter because I like that.
Oh, a trendsetter.
You send the trends, okay? You send
do
the
it,
trends,
girl.
basically. You're like, this is what you're getting. You just give it to them, okay? Which goes really hand in hand with the next secret of sharing sneak peeks. I mean, this is just like a way to invite your audience in, which is something I didn't do for my Christmas launch. I don't feel like I shared sneak peeks. I was like, it's all so secret. Like it's going to be a secret and then they'll see it when they see it. But that's stupid, you guys. Don't do that. Don't listen to me because I feel like you should definitely share sneak peeks. Like I always had the mindset of like, why would I show this if they can't buy it right away? If I'm like launching something on Friday, I'm like, why would I post the picture of the thing on Monday if they can't buy it? Right. But the anticipation makes them want to buy even more. And like, I did not do this until the Star-Spangled Summer launch. And I posted a picture of the table runner. I was like, you can buy this on Thursday or Friday or whatever I launched it. And those literally sold out in like an hour. Like before I would be like, don't show it until the day of. But by then, like it's kind of too late because by the time the hype is built up, you've already kind of missed the mark of the launch day. You're kind of just like a little late in the game. So don't be afraid to like not only just showing sneak peeks, but showing the full shebang and be like, this is coming. Couldn't wait to show you guys. Like I have to show you now. Like this is what's going to come in Thursday kind of thing. Like show it all, do it all, like do an Instagram live and show everything if you want. Like why not?
What is the difference between invite your audience in and sneak peeks? Because they sound very similar.
Well, sharing sneak peeks is more like posting your pictures of things before the launch. So it's like, here's the completed thing that you guys like were telling me we were talking about. And then inviting your audience in is like, what colors do you like? Or, let me talk to you about like how I was looking for this printer or whatever. And then sharing the sneak peek is like you post a picture of the completed products on your feed like earlier. You know what I mean?
So like, yeah, so you can tease something without it being a sneak peek because a sneak peek is showing them what it actually is.
What? I think you're getting just like caught in the weeds a little bit.
Okay.
Like you just want to make sure
overthinking it.
Yeah, you're overthinking it. Like you just want to make sure on inviting your audience in that you're just like talking about it in stories, bringing them into the conversation kind of thing. Sharing sneak peeks means not waiting until actual launch day to show the thing. Like you are showing it before.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, I can't wait to buy that on Thursday. And you're like, well, you better hurry because there's only like so many or whatever.
Yes,
so right. Hype. So this would be like putting a piece of cake in front of someone and being like, look at this beautiful cake I made you. But you can't eat it until tomorrow. And they're like, dang, it looks so good. They're like staring at it all day. And then finally you're like, you can eat it. And you open up the doors to your shop and they're just like, ah! And they come and gobble it up.
Okay. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Whereas inviting your audience in and be like, this is my secret ingredient for the cake I'm making you. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
It's all about
I
building
see.
the cake, you guys. And then your cake, you're going to tie it to a holiday. So you're going to be like, this is a Halloween cake. Okay. You don't even know. It's going to have bats on it and everything. I should have just done this as a whole cake analogy. And now. But you know what? I can keep doing cake analogies because the next secret is this is a very simple secret. Use the countdown feature on Instagram, aka use your cake timer. I told you I was going to turn it into an analogy. So there's not a whole lot to say on this, but literally share your countdown like every day of the week or so before the launch. I want you to be so freaking annoying about your countdown that you are just like, I hate countdowns by the end of the launch, because I always thought like, oh, I'll just share it like once and people will be like reminders or whatever. But no, if you share it once or twice a day, you get so much more hype on it. People will get excited. They share it in their stories too. Be like, oh, I can't wait for this. So like use that countdown feature on Instagram. It is a great tool we have to use. And then when it ends, like it'll give them a little notification like the countdown has ended and it's all super fun. So they automatically get a notification about you on their Instagram feed immediately. So you're like, getting into their mind on the launch day as well. So it's like basically having like another email reminder go out, except on their Instagram notifications.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I think the golden rule is that share until you're exhausted and you hate hearing yourself talk. And if that's where you get to and you're like, this is dumb, I sound like a broken record, you're in the right spot.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be. In fact, as much of a bummer as this is to say, sometimes you still might not be sharing enough, even if you already feel like you're at the broken record stage. Like you've just got to talk about it. And this goes for launching anything. It's not just products. It is anything in your business that you're planning on launching. Digital download, courses, education, products, whatever it may be. Don't shut up. Just, you've got to keep pushing through and talking about it as much as you can.
I know. Like I still could have done so much more to like talk about it more, but I was just like, oh my God, I'm like worn out right now from one a day in May. But yeah, I mean, next time I do a launch, I'm going to do like a live. I want to do more videos of it. I still have some stuff I want to do. Like, I mean, you can still keep talking about things, obviously, but building up that hype for the launch is just going to like, I mean, and this was like one a day in May too. So there's already like that hype kind of going on. People are like, what the heck is going on? So that probably also played into this a little bit. But I'm on my stories and talking about my creative process a ton during May, which I think led to a really successful launch this time, was just having that like going on.
I agree. And I also want to ask too, because we're talking a lot about things specifically related to Instagram and what we're doing on social media, but where does email and other marketing tactics come in for all of this? Because I know you're teasing some stuff on your email list too.
Yeah. In my launch strategy, I'm like, I kind of pick one platform and like just hone in on that. So like obviously Instagram is my one platform. Email, it just kind of like works itself out because I'm like, new collection. Everyone always clicks and opens it. But the hype is kind of happening on Instagram. So they kind of play in tandem. So with email, I'll just send one, be like, something new is coming. Like this collection is launching at this time. Like that's pretty much all I've ever done on email. I feel like I could do more, could have more strategy on that one. But yeah, for me, it's just easier to do Instagram. And that's just kind of how I do my stuff. But again, someone else could do something better. These are just my secrets. So,
yes,
for sure. What I've kind of worked with. But yeah, email, for me, it's just like new collections here and then hope for the clicks. So email's still a little weird for me. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
What do you mean? Like you feel like it's hit or miss or what?
I don't know. I feel like, I could do better being like doing all the like this hype stuff or whatever on email with like showing behind the scenes. But I just like feel like I don't have the freaking time to be like, here's a video of me making something. Like Instagram is so quick and easy to like do,
Right. I just feel like you have your one newsletter that goes out every week that you feature all sorts of fun things. But I still feel like you need another newsletter each week that is like specifically only features your products and not stuff from like Amazon too.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to
Like
always
if
have my newsletter be like, here's something to buy, because I feel like
or a featured product of the week where you like write a little blurb about how you came up with that and the
yeah,
inspiration behind it. It's like the little more like in-depth preview of a product or something like that.
yeah.
Literally though, when I think of emails that I'm getting from like Old Navy or Target, every email is something to buy. That's literally what email marketing is.
Yeah, no, I know. I just would be like, I just feel like I have like my 5 faves, and that's kind of like the feature products of the week. Like, and it kind of goes into hand in hand with like some other fun stuff that I'm using. I don't know. So if I was like, and here's the other feature product of the week, instead of being like, here's some, no, I don't know. It just seems like too much, because I have like random other sales ones going out. So I just don't know if I want to do like a weekly product of the week. That just sounds.
You would have to have someone who's just like running that for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's really my vibe. So yeah, email marketing. Obviously, you want to, have some emails going out too. That's not a secret. That's like an obvious one. Like, yeah, send an email. This is like the lady being like, send an email about it. Like, we know, okay. Tabitha. Her name isn't Tabitha. I don't know where I came up with that, but in my mind, the example of boring marketing strategy, her name is Tabitha. So, my fifth secret for this launch was to take advantage of the magic of influencer marketing strategy, which sounds like it's going to be a Tabitha thing, but it's totally not. Okay, so this can be as simple as like having 3 friends talk about your products on launch day. But the secret is to get them the products early so they can actually talk about them in their own way and do very organic videos. So I had a couple of friends who I've been working with for party stuff, and they have all the stuff early because they used it for a shoot, and they were able, like on launch day, I didn't even ask them. They were just like, we're going to talk about it for you, like blah, blah, blah. And they're like sharing videos of them using the table runner, like on their table, talking about how cute all the party pennants are before I even like showed anything. So they were doing sneak peeks for me, and which was kind of cool, because previously I would have been like, oh my gosh, no one can see all the new things. But now I'm like, show all the new things, like show them off as much as possible, and having someone else do it and talking about it. It's just like validation for your audience to be like, oh, wow, not only does Cami think it's cute, but so-and-so also thinks it's cute. And look how fun it looks when the way they're using it. So yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to know that you want something if you don't see it?
Exactly. So
it's like, it makes it definitely more exciting because you see that, you're like, that's so cute, where can I get it? And it's like, oh well, it's not available for another 2 days.
After, you share the countdown. Oh my gosh, you guys, mind blown. And this is actually a little bit of a double whammy strategy, because I want you to also get feedback from them. So not only are you sending them the products to be like, show this off, like I can't wait for you to see how you're using it, you're asking them, well, how are you using the thing? Like, is 12 feet long enough for you? How did you, like, I'm just talking about the table runner specifically, or like, how are you going to use the party pennant? Or like, is there something you would necessarily change on this? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, I sent them 2 different types of table runners, 2 different paper types. And I was like, tell me which one you like best, because I'm thinking about either one of these. And I was like, which one's more durable? Which one holds up with all your kids running all over it? Like, what is working, and had them like actually test it for me. So
yes,
it kind of worked out really well. And, you just get so inside your own head. It's nice to have someone else be like, well, I used it and this actually ripped on this part or whatever. Like when you unroll it, it rips or something like that. So you can kind of troubleshoot that beforehand. Because again, like we're all like stuck in our heads. So it's just nice to have that outside perspective. So having those conversations beforehand will give you that built-in feedback and it'll help you refine the product to make it better than ever. And you'll also get some really good messaging about it because you know what they love about it and what you can share about it. If they're like, yeah, it held up after 10 kids ran around it, then you can start using that in your marketing,
Yes.
So, and again, don't like overthink this, you guys, where you feel like you have to like find an actual influencer. You can literally use like 3 friends or even another business owner, like a biz bestie or anyone besides your mom. Don't use your mom.
I would say it's actually better to use people who aren't directly in your industry.
Yeah.
They can be in a connected, like your friends who do all the party stuff. I mean, that is like connected and very relevant without being somebody else who is selling notepads and stir sticks and all the things you're selling, you know? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you're not
I'm
going to
not
go to
gonna, like-
another friend who's like, oh, you sell a lot of the same category things as me. And so will you promote my stuff? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, for sure. But like your biz bestie might not sell the same things as you. You know what I mean? Like, so
Right. Like, I don't. So I talk about your stuff a lot.
I mean, totally fine. So yeah, just finding, you know, and even if they're not in the industry, that's totally fine too. It could just be like a friend from high school or whatever, and just send them some stuff, like people who would actually enjoy using it. So don't be afraid to like let the cat out of the bag early by getting them to talk about it, even if it's before launch day, because it just keeps building that hype. See, all these things kind of play into each other, because if you're sending it to them, they're talking about it, that's more building the hype, more of inviting your audience in by sharing about it. I mean, it's just like, there's just so many, like, these are like the little nuances that I noticed made my launch better than ever this time.
Yeah.
So they're subtle and they're small, but maybe that'll help you guys get thinking a little bit more about how you're going to approach your next product launch versus just like make graphics and send an email. So
yeah, right.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect. I love that that's like short and sweet and applicable and upbeat and all the things. So I think there's a lot of great takeaways to learn from that. Number one thing is just don't shut up about it. Basically,
just be so annoying you can't even stand yourself. But yeah, I mean, product launches are so weird, and they're just so different from like a digital product launch or like I don't know. They're just so different, and it is like just a different animal. So I'm gonna like just keep learning and tweaking and sharing with you guys what I learned, because I still don't feel like I have it like 100% down pat. Like there's always room for improvement, which is the exciting part of having a business. You just keep on making things better. So we'll probably have like a round 2 follow-up of like even more secrets of a product launch.
Why not?
Of things I learned, because every single one, I just like learned something different. I'm like, aha, like, oh, that makes sense. That's why. So yeah, it's really good too, after you do a product launch, is to like take the time and like review the things you did and be like, oh, that would like made a difference, or like, I should have done that more. I think that would have, you know, really helped, or things like that. So there's just always room for like introspection and just like, you know, taking the time to review yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, you guys, I think that's short and sweet, but there's not really any reason for us to keep trying to make the episode longer.
Oh, I can keep going. I can just keep on talking about random stuff, but no, it's fine. We'll carry on. We'll move on.
No,
move
we're
on
good.
With our lives. Short and sweet, you guys.
Short and sweet today, but there's plenty of other things to listen to.
Yes. Not Tabitha, though. Who is Tabitha? Not that person. Ugh. Anyway. Okay,
I like how that was like one reference in the episode, and now you've brought it up multiple times, and I still am not even sure what you're talking about.
Tabitha is now my client avatar, or my avatar for a marketing expert who gives really fluffy marketing advice of like, no, you're an audience. And her name is now Tabitha in my head. So I never want to be a Tabitha. If your name is Tabitha, I'm so sorry. And I don't know where the name came from. It's just, I've had a lot of coffee.
Yes.
You guys are like, what is going on? I know some of y'all out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so
jumping into housekeeping, you guys, if you have questions for us, head over to Q and Cake. That's bizbirthdaybash.com. You can scroll to the footer of the website and click Q and Cake. That's the easiest way to get there. Or just go bizbirthdaybash.com/Q and Cake. That's the other way to get there. If you like the episode and you like listening to us, please leave us a rating and a review on iTunes if that is the platform you're listening on. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Hey guys, we just wanted to hop in and talk about one of our amazing resources, the A to Z directory. All of us have thought at some point, how did she do that, or how did she make that? And maybe you don't know where to start or how the heck to produce this amazing product you've dreamt up.
Well, the A to Z directory is the missing puzzle piece in your biz, you guys. Seriously. So it's built in the form of a yearly membership, and it's your one-stop shop for finding suppliers and vendors for all the things. Literally where to print everything from custom invitations, greeting cards, mugs, koozies, acrylic printing, letterpress, custom ribbon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it literally goes from A to Z. From acrylic printers to zipper pouches, we have it in the A to Z directory.
We want to help all of you search less and create more with this list of 300 plus vendors and suppliers. Don't worry, they're very organized. It's not going to be overwhelming and confusing when you join. And this membership also includes access to a private Facebook community. It's incredibly active and involved. And if you need a question answered fast, that is definitely the place to go.
Yeah, our Facebook group really is the best, you guys. Everyone is so helpful in there. And we're in there too, answering questions you guys might have. So it's a great way to get access to us and ask us things without sliding into our DMs. So we're more likely to answer you in the Facebook group, just saying. Anyway, also in the Facebook group, this is new for 2020 and we're really excited about it. We are hosting monthly Power Hour Q&A sessions that are live, and these are only available to our A to Z directory members. So you can hop in with us live and ask us all your burning questions in real time and just hang out with us every month. And we do these at different times so you can actually be there live, and the replays are always available in the Facebook group for members.
This resource is priced at $147 a year, which honestly is extremely affordable and is full of so many benefits, such as exclusive vendor coupons for members only. And we would love to have you guys join. Seriously, it's kind of like our family and our tribe. So visit bizbirthdaybash.com/directory to sign up today and use coupon code podcast2020 to receive $20 off your first year. That's podcast, all caps, 2020 for $20 off your first year.
We can't wait to see you in the Facebook group.